Hello everybody, this is JEcho back with another point of view cast. Going to be casting a game between myself, spawning as the red Zerg on darim altar in the bottom left corner, and this is Jimmy, the blue Terran, spawning somewhere else. I actually scouted here, he's not there. Still going for that standard 14-14. I think I misplaced my pool a bit because I noticed that this version had the little dip here and they can drop tanks and do marine snipes, so a little bit of a mistake. And I did see pretty popular opening that not too many Terrans do. A lot of them think that Reapers are absolutely useless, but you can actually open with a Reaper and it gets, which he is doing, it gets about, I think, 40 to 50 seconds of basically uncontested map control because it's going to be at my base and link speed is not going to be finished. And as you can see with this huge cliff all the way around, the Reaper's going to have tons of room to escape. I actually like this map against Terran because this middle area is so wide open and the distance between the bases is, I just want to say, amazing. So, knowing that the Reaper's coming, getting a couple Zerglings, I don't want to make too many, but if you undermake them and allow the SCV to build a bunker, and I can see SCV went down there, so not too concerned about that now, but moving this over because if you let the SCV build a bunker, you are going to have to make a lot more Zerglings. So I find it's better to just get the early Zerglings, get it over with. I went down here to try to catch the SCV. And as you can see, there's the Reaper. He's actually not shooting the hatchery because he doesn't want me to know it's there, even though I'm watching. And there's his SCV. So already I was like, okay, here's your bunker. Don't want to deal with this. And gonna try to kill the Reaper. Probably a mistake. The SCV was positioned oddly, so 4 Zerglings gone there. Even though I opened pool first and speed first, as you can see, link speed isn't finished. So I'm actually bringing my queen over. I really wanted to stop this bunker from going up. And it's just gonna finish before I manage to catch the Reaper. But luckily, it is finished when my link speed is finished, so not too big of a deal. I'm ahead by 1 Harvester right now, and I know that he's got his 1 Rax and the Tech Lab. So taking a bit too much damage on this hatchery, and I am making a ton of Zerglings, just because I don't know if he's bringing a second Reaper, and I just want to clear this bunker out, get it over with, and I'll use these lings for map control to take down these rocks and to pressure him. So he's actually sending a Marine, and good timing, I get a complete surround on this bunker. No salvage, and I'm going to kill the Reaper. And now I can start droning. It's always annoying to be too afraid and start droning right away, and then, you know, having that bunker kill your expansion. So I for some reason, I always forget the rally point with the natural hatchery. So those lings, got about 11 of them. And see, even though I made a lot of lings, we're still fairly even on harvesters. And I can use these, like I said, for map control. Gonna get an SCV kill here. And gonna see his expansion, gonna see that he did that. Now what this tells me, the fact that he just dropped the Rax there, is he's concerned that I might be going for a Baneling all-in. Which is typical a lot of the time when Zergs feel like they've fallen too far behind and they decide, okay, it's time to go all-in. So I'm gonna use that to my advantage. Looking at the production tab, I'm getting all my tech, and I'm making a ton of drones, and that's it. Keeping the Zerglings here, because he doesn't know. I should have been being a little bit more active, poking the door to act like I wanted to Baneling bust, but I decided, I know I'm ahead in Harvesters, because obviously I've got more Harvesters than he can have mining one base efficiently, and I'm just going to come back here and break down the rock so I can take my 3rd. Now getting really far ahead. I know having to lift off and lower the deep one, come through this tiny choke is not appealing, especially if he thinks I might be going for Banelings, because there's nothing worse than opening your door and then getting Baneling busted. So I'm really far ahead in Harvesters. Still working on those rocks. And I haven't, because I made those early lings, I was rewarded basically with not having to make any units. If Hellions came, I had my Roach one ready. If a bunch of Marines moved out, I have that Baneling nest, so I'm going to be okay. Still just making drones. And Now I'm going to do a quick poke. I know he's got siege tech. So he's been waiting this whole time to take his expansion, and I'm now ahead by 16 harvesters because he was afraid of banelings. Meanwhile, we're actually pretty close on supply. And you can actually see, like, I didn't know this at the time, but he's hurting for minerals. He's got a bunch of extra gas, and I, meanwhile, am very prosperous, I guess. I always put the lair at the natural, because Terrans have a tendency to scan the main, that's where all the tech is, and there's nothing better than having them scan your main, see this, the Baneling Nest, the Roach Warren, and your lair started over here. When you've got Zerglings sitting outside their door, they're thinking, oh man, he's going all in, I'm going to stay in here and bunker up. And meanwhile, I'm doing the complete opposite. I haven't even made any units. So I'm taking my third, and like I'm so far ahead. Now, the one problem I do have with Terran is when you get this far ahead, you should still play cautiously. You don't want to allow him to catch up. So I'm going to deny that scouting SCB. Yeah, because if he gets to 3-3 Marines, they do shred Lings and Mutas, and basically if you lose your Banelings to tank fire, I've seen this happen to quite a few good Zergs, you can still lose a game. So I was going to do a little poke, and I saw he was coming at me, which is fine with me because, as you can see, producing 22 Zerglings, Baneling speed and Roach speed on the way, as well as +1 melee. Would have been nice if I had a few of these Zerglings back, because as you can see, there's not too many Marines here, so just a couple Banelings. I've been working on a Zerg vs Terran style where you only use a couple Banelings, and you use heavy Speedling Roach until you get Mutas out. And then even when their Mutas out, you don't use too many Banelings, because that's what will allow him to constantly produce Marines and just overrun you because you can't keep up in production. So he's going to do this typical annoying thing, and a little bit of miss micro here. That was good by him to put the barracks on the outside. As you can see, I lost all my Banelings, and I didn't hit any of the Marines. If the Banelings got in there, this entire attack would have failed. And at this point, I'm just like thinking, are you serious? So luckily my third finished, and this is something very important I want to note. I have tons of money. I haven't actually started my Spire yet. I'm concerned with blocking this, and I'm thinking, okay, at least he doesn't have medevac, so I should have probably been coming around here to shoot tanks with the roaches, but as you can see, he can still scan. So I want to take a note that I'm still ahead on harvesters, and my income is still ahead of his just because I made this third and just transferred all the workers instead of letting them die. So I'm still making tons of units. I see that there's no reinforcements coming, and I really want to take down this attack. So I know the barracks is gone, he's using a provision. And in go the Banes, and I'm pretty sure I just throw them straight into the tanks, just because with no tanks, he's not going to be able to shoot up this ledge. But just as I said that, I saw a couple more tanks coming, and I was like, oh man, I probably should have saved those Banelings. Didn't know those torches went there. So looking at the production tab, 42 Lings in production, still getting my Spire, because Zergling Muta is really good against